Hello, we're live. Welcome back. This is part 15 of the remake in 3D of The Legend of Zelda from 1986, the very first Zelda ever for the NES, and my favorite game of all times. Okay, so maybe you've seen these videos before. This is a playlist. This is part 15, so there's been some background to this project, which I have given before in other videos. But for those who are just joining today, I am essentially what the title suggests, right? I'm remaking The Legend of Zelda for the NES on 3D. I started this project in early June, and right now we're middle of September. I was doing a lot of progress, especially the first 2 months. I felt like I was moving really fast. However, if you notice the dates of these streams, you will notice that from episode 14 to this episode, there was a little bit of a gap. It does not mean that I was not moving forward with the project. I just had to go home, fly home to my home country, because I live in Japan, but I work in Japan, but I'm not from here, obviously. So every now and then I have to go home. I have to check on the family and all these things. Everything's fine, but also I kind of did lose my rhythm with the streaming. Which is fine, it happens, and the point here is to keep forward the momentum. While I was away, my windows to work on this project, because this is not my full-time job. I'm not a full-time streamer or anything like that. So I am a developer. I work in Japan. I'm a software engineer, but this is not my day job either. Like I wish it was, but it's not. It's just a hobby. So I'm just moving as fast as I can, as much as time permits. And well, as you might be able to see from what I'm sharing right now, you can see Link is around fighting some monsters, like a lot of monsters right here. This is what it's. This is the desert in the section of the original game, and of course it doesn't have these many enemies in the original game. This is just for me to test all the things that I've been doing, right? So Link can move around. As you can see, he's wearing right now the blue tunic. Meaning that he's wearing the blue ring. Also, he is using the magical sword, which is the strongest sword in the game. However, you see there's a discrepancy here on what's going on. If I press the B button, what is at the moment the B button? I guess it's nothing. So the items are not mapped. So essentially, I'm just gonna catch up quickly with you what I have been doing, right? So essentially, enemies and their AI are complete. They do move around, and they shoot the things that they should move. They move around the way they should move, or at least that they move in the original game. So it's a very basic AI for all of them. Some of them do shoot things, arrows or rocks or beams, like sword beams, like Lionel's. And they all have different strength. They all have different resistance, right, to attacks, more HP than others. As you can see, there's a fairy flying around. If I take her, she's gonna heal me a little bit, 3 hearts specifically. So this is a test build, obviously, right? So what do I need to do from here? I'm gonna stop the game. Let me show you. This is the game view, right? But if I go up here, I might need to move the camera, and I would kind of love to have 2 cameras. Yeah, that's better. If you can see here in the distance, let me just get closer. I said closer, god damn it, Mr. Burns. Right. Okay, so from here I'm just gonna do like a eagle eye view of the map. So the map, as you can see, is essentially done. All the parts, all the sections, all the areas are done and completed, and some wired, so to speak. So we have the forest right here, we have the shore, we have level 2 here, a little bit elevated. We have these armas, statues that come to life if you touch them and start attacking you. We have this hidden is a palace, but it's not. This is where you get a heart container or a potion. This is where Link can go gamble, if I remember correctly. And in here you can also get, you get here 100 rupees. I'm talking about the first quest. I'm doing the first quest, at least for now. And then we have here, this is the area I was fighting, like a ton of mobs in here, ton of monsters. Level 5. This is the waterfall where you get the white sword. This is right there. And then we have here a fairy pond. So it's going to be a fairy here that heals you. And then we can see the iconic level 1. It's kind of looking pretty cool, if I say so myself. And then moving here, level 4, which you need the raft to cross the lake, so you can get in there. And then we also have level 3 right here, looking cool and mean and dangerous, of course. And also we have the Lost Woods, right? And if you remember, if you happen to have played this game back in the day, or you know, you can emulate it right now anytime, this section here is going to have a trick. So you cannot just traverse here and get to this section of the game. You have to go up. It was left, up, left, down, left, right? It's like a little trick, because you get lost, and then because of the Lost Woods, right? And then once you do that movement, you end up in this section right here, which is where you start seeing Lionels, which is the most difficult enemies on the overworld, in my opinion. At least the strongest one for sure. And then here you have the graveyard, which is where genies live, all the ghosts. And then we have these 2 fairy ponds, though only this one is a fairy pond. This one right here does not have anything, but if you do play the recorder here, it's going to reveal level 7. And then here we're going to have the place where you actually get the magical sword from the old man. And then here you have level 6, which is to me the best looking palace or dungeon. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and then all here in the back, Death Mountain, right? So the most difficult section on the game, all the end game enemies are going to be here. This is where level 9 is, essentially where Ganon is, the very final destination where you need to head to finish the game. And then this must be, I guess Lake Hylia is either this one or this one, right? You can choose. And this is where you start. So Link can move around here. Link is like essentially free to go anywhere he wants at the moment. I also, in one of my previous videos, was working on not only making these models. I've been using Magika Voxel to create all these models right now. And essentially I was just using the original pixel art and then turning it into, instead of pixels, making them into blocks, right? To 3D blocks. I know I love this type of art. It's pretty cool. It's also keeps the original art intact, so to speak. Just put it in a 3D space. And so you have here the fire, the bow, you know, have the recorder, the wand, the boomerang, the meat right here. You also have the NPCs, the vendor wearing different tunics. It depends on what the tunic that you're wearing. If you're wearing the green one and you meet the vendor, it's going to be green, and if you're wearing blue, it's going to be blue and red, and so on and so forth. Same happens with Zelda, and this is just of a memory limitation back in the day in the game, right? Like if Link was using green, the other character had to use green, right? So there's no lore difference of why Zelda would be wearing any of these dresses. In fact, most people will see Zelda perhaps with the red one or the blue one at the best, right? But most people will never see Zelda with the green tunic, because that means that you completed the game with the first tunic, which is quite crazy, because the final dungeons have very strong enemies, and if you do not have any of the rings, you're going to be getting full damage, and so it's crazy. I don't think I ever finished Zelda with the green tunic. I should probably try one day. I should be able to, right? And then we have here the letter that the old woman gives you, so you can the old man gives you to give to the old woman, and then the old woman is going to be selling you the potions, which is this one, the blue one single use, and the red one for 2 uses. The 2 rings right here, which is pretty cool. The raft, the ladder, the Bible, though they changed the name. I think they don't call it the Bible anymore for censorship reasons. I don't mind. It's a magical Bible, and you have the candles right here. Okay. So, making these animations, these models is fun and all, but, then you have to use them. And so this is what I was doing while I was away in the interim between these 2 episodes, this one and the previous one. I was working on Link actually using these items, right? Because all of them have different behaviors. All of them, you can attack with some of them. You can just kind of like wear them, like the rings. And of some others, for example, you have 2 candles, right? Like this candle, the blue one, is only single use. You fire some, like a fireball, like this one right here, and you can hit enemies, or you can reveal, you can burn bushes, and some bushes can be burned, and then there's going to be some ladders underneath, so you reveal passages. So it's a tool and a weapon. The difference between these two is that this one is single use per screen. Now in the original game, it was like screen based movement. So this was one screen, and the moment Link kind of crossed this threshold here, the screen would kind of scroll to the side or up or down depending what you were doing, and then at that point things kind of reset a little bit. And one of the things that reset was the blue candle. So essentially per screen you could only use one fireball with this candle, and with the red one, which is a big upgrade, you could just fire as many balls as you want per screen. Right, so that's one difference in there. Also the wand, which is probably one of the trickiest one to make, to the behavior that I gave it, because the wand, if you ever gotten it in the original game, you can kind of stab enemies with it. So it works like the sword, so you can attack like that. But it also shoots a beam, like a magical beam, which you can hit enemies at the distance and hurt them. And then finally, if you do have the Bible in your inventory, that beam, the moment it hits the wall or it hits an enemy, is gonna hit them, but it's also gonna turn into a fireball. So that gives you more. You can burn bushes, or you can hit enemies twice, things like that. The boomerang. You know what? Let me show you, because this is kind of boring if I just kind of like blah 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 blah. Now, what I'm just last thing, just for catching up with everybody, right? So right now, most items work. What I haven't gotten around to do is these two icons right here. So right now these are hard coded in the UI. What works from the UI is the minimap. So as you can see, in the original game, this thing was just like a gray square, so you could not really see what was exactly on the map. You just had an idea with like a little cursor, which in this case I just made this green dot. So you're going to be moving around, it's going to tell you more or less where you are. So that works. And just because it's an upgrade, quality of life enhancement, I am actually putting the map, so you know more, what's going on. For those people who never had the privilege of playing this game back in the day. Rupee counter works. Keys still doesn't work because I'm going to work on the dungeons when I finish the outer world, right? So there's no keys on the outside. No, you're right, there's keys being sold by the merchant, so at some point I would need to implement this before I go into dungeons. Anyway, so now I need to fix that, or get it done. Haven't even started. Bomb counter works, so you can use bombs and collect bombs, and it works. Now the life, as you saw a few minutes ago, so you have the hearts. Right now I'm just kind of starting the game with like full hearts, which is in this game it's not 20, it's just 16, so 2 rows of 8 hearts. And when you get a hit, it depends on the nature of the hit and what kind of tunic you're wearing. It can be, you can lose 1 heart or half heart, right? So when you are equipped, essentially in this A square, you're always going to have the sword. Once the best sword that you have at that point, right? And on the B, essentially the item that you're using at that time. So in the original game, when you pause the game, there's this UI that descends, like freezes the game, and then the UI comes down and it shows you, which is exactly what I was working right now. Let me show you more or less, because there's not much I can show you from that screen. So essentially this is what the player sees here at the top of the screen. But when you pause, what I'm going to be doing is that, after I finish putting everything here, this thing is just going to come down, cover the screen, and then in here you're going to be able to choose which item you want to use for the B square. And then you unpause the game, this menu comes back up, and then yes, certainly, sure enough, you can start using that with the B button. Now, you can do that. I'm gonna do that because that was how the original game was, and I'm trying to be faithful to the original game. However, I want to do some quality of life improvements like I did with the minimap, and also I'm gonna be doing the same for this, like maybe with the select button, you press select and it just cycles through the next item available, so you don't have to stop the game with this. But essentially, if you want to be faithful to the original experience, you will be able to. So what is this thing gonna look like? Let me see if I have that screen here available quickly. Let me see, just one moment. I have all my screens and all my references. I Did I not save that? Did I not save that? 1 second, let me look it up. Just real quick. Preview. Screenshot. No. Huh, strange. I thought I had it. Well, anyway. Let's... because I actually need it. So, where did I put that? UI maybe? World object swords. Yeah, this is something that I was using to the probability of drops. So I've been using a lot of these materials that I've been finding online, like, you know, some really generous people have taken the time to, you know, put all this out, and it's been my reference to get like very faithful replication of the pixel art into 3D. Damn. Well, maybe we can Google it, because I really want to show it to you. Alright. Well, that's strange that I cannot see it. Preview, open recent. Menu screen. There it is. Okay, here we go. Right, so this is what it's gonna look like. So right now, I'm very early on in this top part. This is what I want to do. So essentially, inventory USB for this right here. I was kind of struggling just to make the triangle here. It's gonna be a double triangle. It's one and then an inner one triangle here. And then in the original game, this yellow triangle is divided in 8 parts, right? So you divide it like half, and then half again, and half again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I suppose half and half because I was counting 4 squares. So yeah. Anyway, so this is gonna be divided in 8. And there's actually 9 dungeons, so you need to collect the first 8 dungeons, you know, finish them, collect the Triforce, complete it, and then once you have the complete Triforce, you can actually get into level 9, which is the final dungeon that I showed you previously on the map. Anyway, so in here, yeah, so this screen is gonna come down. Let me see, so come down. I mean, I need to select the whole thing, come down, and then just select your you know, inventory you want to use, and then you bring it back up. That's how it's gonna work. How it's work right now, because I'm on testing development mode, I am kind of selecting here from my development tools, which is right here. So secondary items. So I made a list here, and for those interested a little bit in the code section, so essentially this is the player script, and one of the things that you add here in the player script, like it does a lot of things, but one of them is to manage which secondary item Link is using at any given time. So essentially I made a list of the things that Link could be holding on the B button at any given time, which could be nothing at the very beginning, and then after that you get all these, like a magic boomerang, the boomerang, bombs, candle, recorder, so on and so forth. And then each one of them has a section. For example, boomerang, player, secondary item, right? So yeah, if you're using the bow, so what happens, right? So in this case, in the case of the bow, you're gonna instantiate the arrow prefab, like the model of the arrow, and then I tell you where, towards where, which rotation, and things like that. If you have been using the bombs instead, like it's in a case switch, well, in that case, then you are gonna instantiate the prefab of the bomb, and then once you instantiate the prefab of the bomb, each item, and most of them, have their own logic. For example, here I go into the item bomb, and then in here I tell the bomb what to do. Once you exist in the world, once you're instantiated in the world, you're going to start doing this. And in Unity, you have the start method. That means that as soon as you appear for the first time, you're going to run this logic once. You also have the update method. It's empty right now because every time you open, you create a new script, it creates the start and the update method, but I'm not using it. So essentially, this helps you to define the logic that you want to run to happen on every frame, right? So if your game runs 60 frames per second, it's gonna run 60 times. The bomb doesn't need anything to happen on every frame per second, so I ignore that. But then in here, I use an I enumerator because this one gives me the ability to have time delays, right? And bomb explode. So essentially, when you appear in the world, trigger this coroutine called bomb explode, and then the bomb is going to appear in the world, and after 1.5 seconds, you're going to destroy it. But before you destroy it, you're going to instantiate an explosion prefab, which I also made. So essentially, the bomb itself disappears, and in its place, you see the bomb explosion. And the bomb explosion also has a damage, area, right? And then you finally destroy everything. You remove it from the world. So anyway, so let me show you one by one of the items that I've been working, because I haven't shown this in the stream. So I'm gonna play the game once again. Right now, seems like I had the meat, linked to me. And as I said, normally you would see the meat here on the B, but soon. I'll do that soon. Okay, so now because the game's running, you might notice some different things here. Like, for example, what is this thing spinning around? So this is gonna be the whirlpool, the cyclone. When you play the flute, the recorder in this Zelda, there is this cyclone that comes, pick you up, and then takes you off the screen. And what it does, it teleports you to a dungeon that you have cleared. For example, if you already cleared dungeon 1, 2, and 3, it's gonna cycle you dungeon 1, dungeon 2, dungeon 3, right? So you have to play the flute every time you want to call it. So yeah, essentially it's like a fast travel teleportation device. That, and also the flute can reveal some secret areas like level 7. And it becomes a lot more prominent in the second quest, because you can also... Actually, in some dungeons, you can use it to remove the armor of one of the bosses. Like, you play the flute, and it just kind of like gets smaller, and you can hit it more. So anyway, so it has different functions. But anyway, let's get started from the meat. Why not? So essentially, this is just for display right now. They're just for me to look at them, to see their sizes, to see how they're going to be. For example, Link is going to be within this whirlpool. Let me kill this guy. Now, if I press the B button, it's going to be leaving meat there. And originally, when I was making it, I could just leave as many meats as I wanted, but in the original game, you can only leave one, and right now it's being destroyed quite quickly. So what happens, I need to double check this, because I almost never use the meat in the original games. What happens, the meat is going to attract enemies towards it. It's going to distract them, right? So it has to last a bit longer on every screen. And actually, you don't run out of meat when you use it in the outside world. Also, the meat is a crucial item in dungeon 7, if I'm not correct. I might be mistaken. Which dungeon is it? There is a character, a moblin, that will not let you pass unless you feed him. So when you feed him, that's when the meat disappears from your inventory forever, for some reason, right? But in the outside world, you can just place it there, and it's gonna distract enemies. Essentially, that's what it does. So it's not food for you to get healthy or regain hearts or anything. Okay, that's the meat. Let me go the bow. So I'm having the bow, so hopefully soon I'm gonna make so it displays the bow here. Go back to the game, and let me start shooting peeps with the bow and arrow, right? So let me see. You see? Okay, there you go. Look, I'm shooting. Now this is not fully implemented yet. Yeah, if it works, I can kill enemies with it, like that guy over there. So like rupee counter works. I can walk in here, nothing happens yet. I need to implement the stores. So there's quite a few things left, guys. I mean, I know it looks like there's a lot done, which I agree. Yeah, I did a lot of progress in the beginning. I need to get back into the rhythm because I want to keep going and finish it. All right, so that's the bow. And normally, yeah, to shoot arrows in the original game, you have to have rupees, because you don't have like an arrow counter. Every arrow you shoot decreases your rupees by 1. So somehow your rupees are your arrow meter, or your arrow number that you have available. And now you have the boomerang. There's 2 boomerangs, the boomerang and the magical boomerang. So the boomerang, the regular one, is yellow, and it travel distance is shorter, right? So I throw it, comes back to me. I throw it, comes back to me. What it does is that if I hit an enemy, it just freezes it in place for a while, just for a few seconds. Look, those two guys are just frozen. They have the cycle animation, but they're not moving, right? I think I made it just for like 3-4 seconds. Whoa, that was close. And they stop attacking as well. Like some part of their script runs, like the just cycle animation, they flip back and forth, but they stop moving around, they stop shooting. So that's kind of what my boomerang does right now. Once you get the magic boomerang, the upgrade, very similar. What it does is just travels a bit further. Let me just get back here because it bounced on the rocks. So as you can see, it travels way further than the other one. And then if I move, you know, while the boomerang is being shot, like on motion. Now, yeah, there's some instances I noticed that if it clashes with some stones in a weird angle, it doesn't quite go back to me immediately. Like that, you see that? That's not exactly the motion that it does in the game. See, what is it doing there? Okay, but the point is that right now it does freeze enemies in place, which is the main functionality of the boomerang. That guy. I think the armors are not... Can you not freeze them? Or did I just forget? This guy is not being frozen by the boomerang. I need to remember if I did that on purpose or if I just forgot to give the logic to armors to stop moving when hit by the boomerang. Also, yeah, as you can see, enemies are walking in water. I can walk on water. This needs to be updated at some point. I will get to that. Zora seems not to be affected by my boomerang. Okay, so let me see. How about the moblins? I think the moblins will be affected. Okay, yeah, so that guy's frozen. And I also notice now they're kind of floating a little bit above the ground, aren't they? Can you see that? Yeah, they're floating a bit above the ground. So I need to fix that too. Every time I show you some things, I find things that I need to fix, which is fine because this is the only time that I can probably really look for bugs, when I'm kind of testing it as a game, as you will be playing the game. Yeah, and also I need to limit the amount of boomerangs that I have. Holy moly. Yeah, you can only have one boomerang in the original game, but right now I can probably spawn them. That's actually quite cool. Do you come up with this kind of... This is not a glitch. This is just simply I have not told the game to not do this, right? To disallow this. Like what I said with the meat, right? Like in the beginning I was able to just place as many meats as I wanted, but I had to put the limit to that. I just haven't done the limit to this. I need to do that. Add it to the to-do list. Okay, now that I have some hearts missing, it's a good time for me to show you the blue health potion and the red health potion. Now, red health potion, essentially when you use it, it turns into a blue one. If you use the blue one, it just disappears from your inventory. It actually turns into the letter that you showed to the old lady, right? Anyway, so red potion, as I said, is not gonna show here just yet, but it will. Now, the function of the potion in Zelda is I'm gonna use the red potion. It freezes enemies, like this guy's still jumping but in place, and I'm just gonna cycle through all my hearts, and I should be playing a little sound, a refilling sound. And when I'm full again, enemies start like attacking and moving around, like displacing their translation, right? Like not translation as in language, just like the vector translation as it start moving up and down. Now, because I had the red potion, logically speaking, like behind the scenes, now I have the blue health potion, and you can actually see here, because that's what happened in the game. Eventually it's going to be shown here, the blue potion. It'll be a lot easier to know. But let me just get hit a few more times, because then what's going to happen is I'm going to use the blue potion. And once again, so if you pay attention to the enemies, stop, restore my health, and then everybody carries on. And now my current item is none. It should be the letter, but I'll fix that too at some point. Gotcha. Okay, so wow, there's so many enemies in here. Let me keep going. So what else do I want to show you today? The bombs, man. The bombs, I think it's probably my favorite at this point. So yeah, so right now I have unlimited bombs. I can put a bomb and then it explodes, and I can collect a heart on top of that. Like, why that? I need to put that heart on the floor. So I'm gonna put another bomb here. Takes a couple seconds. You see, that's the explosion is the one I was telling you, right? So the bomb, this cherry bomb disappears, and in this place I instantiate the explosion, and while the explosion is active, the explosion has its radius of damage, and if you happen to be unlucky to be there, then like this guy, you explode. Boom. Okay, and I think I can put as many bombs as I want, right? So I say I need to go around and limit my inventory, because right now I'm OP, but granted, you know, there's so many enemies. That could be like a thing I do, you know, at the end, like a gauntlet. So I'm gonna break the rules. You can have as many weapons as you have, but also like fighting a ton of enemies. That could be quite hectic, but you know, it's something that Miyamoto couldn't do back in 1986, but maybe we can do that today. Right? Boom, boom, boom. I love the bombs, man. I don't know. It's so much fun. Boom, boom, boom. Nice. So yeah, so that bomb was fun to make. And as you can see, this is a bomb that I can pick up. So it's blue. And if you place one, it flashes red and blue. And that's the distinction that I made. Like in the original game, it doesn't flash red and blue. But I wanted to, you know, make sure that you knew which bomb you can pick and which one you cannot. So for example, if I pick this bomb, it's going to increase my bomb counter by 1. So that works. I need to add gravity to these hearts. Yeah, man. Don't know why they're being spawned there. So it's a few details that I need to, you know, take care of. The candle. Okay, this is also quite cool. So the candle, like I said, so right now I'm using the blue candle. If I shoot it, look at the fireball. It just goes in there. It kills an enemy. It stays there for a while, and then it disappears. Now, I cannot shoot anymore because the blue candle, like I said, has a limit. But because this game is going to be open world, right? Like in the original game, like I said, you transition from screen to screen, and every time you transition, you reset your candle. I'm not having that transition here, so I wasn't sure how to make it. So I said, look, what if I just put a timer on it, right? So it's just time in there. As long as I have the blue candle, you know, it kind of has to cool down for a few seconds. And then once it's cooled down, even if you're still in the same screen, I think it's fair. You can shoot again, right? Yeah, so that's the decision I took for the blue candle. And then if you have the red candle, this one, of course, the difference is that I can do this. I can just kind of cause freaking catastrophe and burn the whole forest and everybody in it. Right, so obviously in the original game, even the red candle, you could not do this, right? I think you could fire 2 fire bombs at the same time. Like, they can only be 2 fire bombs in the world, or fireballs. And then once they go away, you can fire more. But essentially, that's the idea, that, you know, you can use them as often as you can. As long as there's less than 2, you can fire another one. So I'll have to fine-tune that limitation, which is not a big deal. It's easy. It's just I haven't gotten around to do it. But like I say, I'm starting to get excited about, maybe I'll make like a gauntlet, like a secret area where you have like unlimited weapons and unlimited bosses and unlimited enemies, and see how far you last. That could be something that I do once this is completed. Also, I'm noticing that in the original game, the fireball that you shoot can actually hurt you, and in here I have not implemented that. I thought I did, but apparently not. I can be burning and I'm totally comfy here. Okay, so that's the red candle. Next, magic rods. Okay, this one, like I say, was a bit tricky because it's a little bit of layers to it, right? So it's like the attack, as in melee attack, the distance attack with the beam, the magical beam, and also the Bible. If you have the Bible, you're gonna shoot. It's gonna burn whatever it hits the beam, right? So there you go. So let me see. So shoot that tree, and right now I'm defaulting to having the Bible. So if I shoot, let me shoot some enemies here. Boom! I hit him as a sword. He has a sword, right? And then look at the fire. Sideways. Awesome. Boom. So I'm burning that guy. Let me see. Some enemies should have more ability to withstand. Oh yeah, so the green moblin, the fire should not be rotated ever, and it is being rotated. Cool, I have to fix that. There you go. And he leaves a bomb. Dang, I'm actually getting a lot of damage and I don't have any more potions. But yeah, this is how it works right now. So you have the beam shoots, the beam crashes with something and it just burns whatever it is, giving you the ability of having a long range attack. If you ever seen a speed run, not necessarily a speed run, but some people have actually finished the game, the original NES game, without the sword, without any sword like this one, right? Just simply do not walk into the iconic cave where the old man gives you the sword and tells you that it's dangerous to go alone, right? So some speedrunners or these guys like that are amazing at video games kind of like skip that and go through the whole game, right? I think the only thing is that you cannot really kill Ganon without the sword, but essentially what they use a lot is the wand, because like I said, the wand's essentially a sword that shoots stuff and kills mobs. But yeah, Ganon, I think it has to be hit with the magical arrow or the silver arrow, and then you freeze it like in every Zelda, most Zeldas, right? Like you have to do that, and then you have to hit him with the sword one last time, and that's it. So if you don't have that, you don't finish the game. I think that was the only problem. But at that point, you finish the game, right? So it counts. So that's the wand, guys, and the wand is something that you. Oh my God, this is fire. Look, you gotta embrace the journey, right? Like all these glitches, all these things that are just nonsensical. Like I was also seeing, look at that guy. Like I just committed suicide. Just jump above the threshold of the world. Oh no, there he is. Yeah. So and there, I've seen also Zoras flying in the sky, like randomly. Like, how did they gain the ability to fly on the sky? Like let me try to see if I can see a Zora flying for you guys. Those guys are okay. Like why? I swear to you, I've seen some Zoras taking off and just crossing the sky like that. It's like, how? I don't know. I need to look at their logic, see what's happening, right? Like what's happening with their logic and why exactly they could be triggered into and lock them down, right? Like they're a bit simple in the way that they just kind of spawn where water is and they don't move around. They just kind of look at you, face whatever you are, and they shoot at you. Wow, okay, another thing. So did you see how my candle fire was not hitting me? But check it out. This fire actually hurts me. So okay, so I implemented it in here, but not in the candle. I need to do it in both. Okay, so what else is there? Is that all? Meat, recorder. Okay, so the recorder, it's essentially not finished. When you play the recorder right now, it's not going to do anything. So it should freeze enemies in place. You play the tune, and then the cyclone that I was showing you guys in the beginning of the start to screen will come, will pick you up. And what I'm thinking, let me stop the game for a moment just to show what I'm planning to do with the cyclone. What I'm going to do, in the original game, you're always looking at the screen like from this perspective, right? And if you traverse horizontally, it follows you like this, and then it follows you like that, and then it follows you like this, and so on and so forth. So you always have like a locked camera. I obviously need to work on my camera. Like once I make final decisions as to how the game is going to operate in the controllers, I'll go back to that in the future. Because the camera I have right now, it's cool, but I don't know. I also feel like these mountains are too high and then they cover you. There's glitches on some mountains like in here. Like what the hell is going on here? You see this polygon right here sticking out. So there's a lot of work I need to do just to refine. The final touches is going to take a long time. Like it's going to be all the pile stuff, all the pile details that I have left behind. And I said like, I'll do that later. It'll come back to haunt me at some point, so it will happen. But that's it. That's the truth of the nature of the gig. Okay, so this thing, the cyclone right now. So you see only one frame of the cyclone. That's why it doesn't look like it's doing much. But this will be spinning and it's kind of like swapping the palette. And this is the last item that I made in Magika Voxel. Let me just show you a little bit of Magika Voxel, which is where I was making these assets. So Zelda, world objects, cyclone recorder. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So why did I did it like this? Because the cyclone, believe it or not, for those with keen eye, which is not me, check it out. So this is what I was talking about just a bit ago. So this is the cyclone. I'm just looking at it from the back. So this is it. So this is a 2D rendering of the cyclone, and then I tried to make it into a 3D. You know, if you look at it, it's like, what the hell is this? It doesn't look like anything. But the thing is that it's gonna be spinning, and if you spin it, it kinda looks like cyclone. And not only that, in the original game, it cycles through these palettes. So there you go. This one is this one. This one is this one. And this one is this one. And then you just kind of cycle them, and then you spin it in place, and so on and so forth. But because this down here is the game view, this is the, you know, game development mode, the view. So in here I can do things around. So essentially, imagine that this dude is Link, and Link plays the flute. So what I'm gonna be doing, I'm thinking, is that this thing is gonna descend from the sky to wherever Link is, right? So I'm just imagining that it's gonna find its way to this guy, and then kind of like, you know, enemies will be frozen in place for a moment, and then it's gonna pick Link up, lift him up in the air. So it's gonna lift up. Imagine that this guy is actually together with. All right, let's do it. This guy, where are you? Hang on. You, the Merchant Blue. As a Merchant Blue, and the Cyclone. So are together now, and then I select them both. So pick him up, and then take him. Whoa, like that, and it's gonna be spinning, right? Like whoa, no, like in white. Whoa, spinning like a lot, right? And then I'm gonna do the logic like in the original game, right? So if you already finish level 1, then essentially it's gonna lift you up away from harm's way and take you to level 1, and then gently just kind of like drop you here, right here, and that's it. And then similarly, if you want to go to the next one, so comes, you know, appears out of nowhere, because on the original game, this tornado or cyclone or whatever always comes from the left side. Like, just appears outside the screen, comes into the screen, picks Links up, and then carries him towards the right. I cannot do that here because, like I say, there's not going to be left and right if you're going to be like rotating around, and there is no, you know, I don't know, it doesn't kind of like feel correct in this case. And so in that case, I'm just going to kind of descend the cyclone, pick Link up, take him to the next destination, so move towards whatever the next goal would be. So imagining it would be like this castle or this castle, and so on and so forth. So that's what I also need to work on. So it's gonna get them back to the original place. That's what I'm thinking about the recorder. And the recorder is also gonna have a constraint. Like if you play the recorder where the you know, this lake is, the one level 7. So in here I'm gonna put like some kind of trigger, right? If you're in this area and you play the flute, do not call the tornado, kind of trigger the animation of this lake being drained and revealing the entrance of level 7. Right. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing. Oh, just checking. I need to check that I'm actually just checking the stream. Just one moment, because I'm talking like a madman here, and I don't even know if it's streaming. I hope so. I certainly hope so. Yeah, seems like it is. Okay, I'm good. Right. So this, I'm kind of looking at myself right there. Right. So where was I? Right. So that's the items, ladies and gentlemen. So that's where I'm at. So I could, and I need to take note of all the little glitches and things that I haven't implemented, like from the fire not burning me, the boomerangs kind of moving in a weird, you know, path. What else was there? Locking the instances that you can spawn of, like, you know, with the red fire, things like that. Right, but what is really distracting to me is the UI. Like, this is not changing, so I want to do that. I want to be able to like press select and just cycle them, and even better, just finish the scene right here, do the this screen, you know, select these items. Now, something that you might not be thinking about, right? This game, yes, it's 3D, so I have to make these models in 3D, but it also uses 2D sprites. These are 2D sprites. These are not the 3D models, and this happens in the previous game that I make, the game right before this one. Yes, I did all the monsters in 3D because it was a 3D rendition of a game from Intellivision, so even before NES. So 2D sprites were created, 2D monsters were made into 3D monsters, but also the weapons and all that. And because I had a UI, my UI had to use sprites, so I need to do everything to 3D and to 2D. So I need to do the same here, but luckily it's not that difficult. So I'm just gonna have to have all these items made in 2D as a sprite, and then cycle them here, create a little inventory system here that you can cycle them and select them, make the inventory system here of the Triforce. Every time you pick up a Triforce inside a dungeon, it's gonna kind of take its place here, because you know, in this game it was pretty open world, surprisingly, back in the day, right? Like meaning that you could go first into, oh my god, the Intellivision gamer, I just saw your comment. If you're still looking, thank you so much, appreciate the support, and thanks. That's great to hear from you, bro. I hope you're doing well. I've seen your channel a few times, doing amazing stuff, doing the Lord's work in television forever, dude. Love it. Yeah, so essentially just showing what I've been working on the last, it's been what, like 3 months almost. But like I say, I had a little bit of a hiatus there because, you know, life. But it will happen. I made a promise to me and to whomever wants to watch this that I want to finish this game because I love Zelda. The Zelda NES is where it all started for me. Gaming was like, that's not true. I actually started with Intellivision that we're talking about. In fact, I remade the Treasure of Tarmin for the Intellivision because that was the very first game that I ever saw in my life, and that was just changed things, right? But this was the next level, right? Like, I, as much as I feel that Treasure of Tarmin was ahead of its time, you know, it was the granddaddy of Diablo and dungeon crawlers. Zelda was just next level, man. It was just incredible growing up in the 80s because you just saw technology leap so much, so quickly. Like, I know right now we're still moving forward in technology and everything, but I have to be honest, like, you compare the graphics with previous generations, like PS5, with PS4, with PS3, yes, they're better. Yes, ray tracing and all these things. But, dude, the jump from Intellivision to NES, and then from NES to 16-bit Super Nintendo, and then to 3D and Nintendo 64, it was just, I don't know if it's gonna happen again. Like, from SNES to N64, just the fact that you were added a new dimension, it was just, you had to be there, man, because, you know, younglings right now play Mario 64 and they just, this is like, ooh, it looks terrible. And like, man, okay, I get it. You were born a different generation, but man, seeing that, like, it just made me feel something magical. Like, I cannot explain it, but with, you know, weird words, like, it was magical, man, seeing that. So yeah, and this is just a tribute, right? Like, see, I want to keep getting better at making games, and like, this is a hobby of mine. Like, it's a thing that I've been enjoying doing. And the Treasure of Tarmin remake that I made, that is actually in itch.io, it was kind of well received, right? It's a tiny niche community, but they're very passionate, like, you know, like the Intellivision gamer. You know, the Reddit channel, I got really good feedback, man. And coming from Reddit, I was like, woof, that's big. I was a bit scared, you know, because you never know. Like, critics can be quite harsh, and I didn't want that to be I don't think it would deter me from doing it, because I know you cannot please everybody, and besides, I'm not planning to sell these. Like, it's not, I couldn't, even if I wanted to, I couldn't, because Nintendo would be, you know, I will have something to say, right? So yeah, this is what's going on with the game right now. Yeah, and what else is happening? So yeah, I went home. I actually went to the Nintendo Museum. Look at my beautiful shirt. I bought these things. Let me show you here. It's a big ass Super Famicom controller, so the Super Nintendo counterpart. And also this one. Oh my god, what am I doing with my life, man? This is the Famicom controller, right? So we have the iconic NES controller, where this is what they had in Japan. This is what it looked like. Unfortunately, because it's in Japan, understandably so, they don't have the NES controller in pillow fashion, so I could not get it. But maybe once they have this merchandise in the United States, they'll have it. Great, man. Nintendo Museum is just hard to get to. Like, if you do not live here, it's really hard to go because you cannot just buy a ticket and go, like any other place in the world. You just buy a ticket and you go in, and that's it. Like here, there's a lottery system. They love lottery systems in here. Like I understand why they do them, but if you do not live here, like every month you kind of like essentially have a chance. Say, hey, I would like to go on these days, and then at the end of the month they draw, right? They get the draw, and if you're lucky, okay, yeah, you can buy tickets to come on the day you selected. But this is the second time I've been to the Nintendo Museum, and I've just been able to go once every year because I've been applying every month, right? And I just try to put it on days that it's not going to be totally packed. Like if I go only Saturdays, Sundays, you're not going to get selected. So in fact, I was able to go this time because I put on a Friday to go, and I was able to be selected, right? So, but if you're coming to Japan, if you're taking a plane and you're like trying to plan it out, like which you should, it's, unless you've been kind of like applying for a few months, or you applied the month before to come on a really random date, like a Wednesday afternoon, like at 4 or something, right? Like when nobody really wants to go, maybe you could probably secure your tickets. But again, there's this random factor that if you're trying to plan your trip around that, it's going to make things difficult. So yeah, unfortunately, is not only the Japanese culture around drawing system, it's also Nintendo being like a bit OTT on the way they run things. But man, let me show you if I have it here handy. It was all worth it because of this. Now it's official, guys. you get this thing. It has 10 coins, and then with that one you can play a few games that I have in there. And it's cool, man. It's my Mii. If you have your Mii, you can actually import it in the Nintendo website and use it for your cars. It's just, man, God, why am I a sucker for all this stuff? Okay, so that's also something nice that happened in the last few weeks that I was absent from the streaming. I'm gonna be better now, so I'm getting back to work. Life resumes. Everything goes back to what it was. And that includes this stream, which I'm actually quite enjoying. I like to have somebody to share this with, the whole journey. I've never done this before. When I was doing Treasure of Tarmin, I just did that for 6 months straight, every day, part-time, obviously. But I had that goal that, I'm going to be able to release this and show it to people once it's finished. And when I did, it was surreal because, that game lived in my computer for 6 months. And the day I released it, there was a couple gentlemen that were like actually playing them in their YouTube channel. So that was so surreal for me because that game has never been anywhere else but in my computer in the whole planet. And then suddenly it was like available and people were actually playing it. It was awesome. So that kept me going for those 6 months, knowing that eventually somebody will play it. With this one, unfortunately, because Nintendo is quite aggressive with their, protecting their IPs, and I wouldn't be the first nor the last person to release something with Nintendo IP and immediately be on the best case scenario get a cease and desist, like some lawyer is going to send you a letter to tell you to please stop doing that or we will sue you, and they probably will. So when that happens, most sane people at least will comply because you don't want to, right? Like they're, and it's not even that they're doing something wrong, it's like they're in all its rights, within their rights to do that. So I get it, but that means that I will not be able to put this out there, at least as it is right now. So what I'm thinking is I'm gonna finish it, because I am gonna finish it. When, I'm still not sure, but it's gonna be a few months. But once I finish it, maybe I can reskin it, like remove all the Nintendo IP, but I don't know how much would that mean, right? Because I can change links, I can change the mobs, I can, but I don't know what else, like do I need to change the map completely as well? Maybe I have to do that just to be safe. I don't know. And honestly, if I put it out there, once I kind of like rework it a little bit so it's not an obvious copy of it, if they have a problem with it, yeah, I'll just take it off. But that's the thing. They're saying like, look, if I don't have that goal, like people are gonna be playing it. Like, yeah, my friends, maybe locally here, like some people could have actual access to my computer, because I'm probably not gonna put it online, at least as it is. So because I don't have the motivation that eventually people will get to see it, like for free, of course. Like I don't plan to sell it like it is right now. It's not mine to sell anyway, just my work, my time. but the IP forbids me to putting it out there and put a price on it. So maybe I just need to rework it, like, you know, fork the project. That means kind of clone it and then just leave it, the finished project as it is, and then the other one just work on that and rework it in a way that I could actually put it out there in some capacity, so some people can actually, you know, have a go at it and tell me what they think. So yeah, it's all happening, guys. So I'll keep you posted. Like, subscribe, you do all the YouTube things. And I'll keep you in the loop. I'm gonna die here. Just see the dying animation. Who's gonna take the final shot? Zora, kill me. Pew. Oh, this guy's gonna kill me. Aim and shoot. Oh, I have my shield. My shield stopped it. Okay. Committing suicide. So the animation cycle is also the same as in the original game. I mean, of course, you don't explode like that in the original game, but it's just some flair. Right. Okay. Well, I mean, this is where it's at, guys. You have a comment, a question, a suggestion, or something you noticed, like I'm all ears. Have a great day. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.